first thing we're going to do is make our marinade. We'll start with about a quart of apple juice. To that we're going to add half a cup of brown sugar. This is dark brown sugar. It has a little bit more flavor, I think, than the light brown sugar. And we're going to put in 1/3 of a cup of salt. And we'll just whisk those together. It's important to try to get as much of the salt and sugar dissolved in the apple cider or apple juice as you can. It'll be absorbed by the pork much more easily if it's well dissolved. And now let's add it to our pork. This pot is what we're going to put our pork shoulder in. I like to start off with 1/2 of a sliced onion. I'm going to put about half of the onion scattered around on the bottom of the pan. This is going to be underneath the pork shoulder, and we'll go ahead and add get all that yummy stuff off the bottom here and get it dissolved. There's our marinade. Next we'll put the pork shoulder in the marinade. This is a pork shoulder. It's one of the cheaper cuts of pork that you can get. This one has been deboned by the butcher, and it weighs about 6 pounds. It's a lot. It'll kind of fall apart on you like this because it's the bone's been removed and they've cut in to do that. But they keep this back layer, which is mostly the fat, they keep that together intact, and that'll kind of hold the pieces together while you marinate it. I'm going to put this pork shoulder now into the pot with our marinade. Notice I'm putting the open side with the cut parts of the meat down and the fat side up. This is because I want the liquid to be able to kind of get in between those pieces of meat. And the next thing I'm going to do is put the remaining sliced onion on top of this. The onion, I think, gives it a really good flavor. One thing you'll notice is that your refrigerator begins to smell a lot like onion from this. But after it's cooked, the onion flavor isn't as great. It just adds just a little bit of a hint of onion to it. Next we're going to fill this up with water to kind of cover the meat. To hold the meat under, I'm going to add a glass dish. This is going to help draw the liquid up over the top of the pork shoulder. Now we'll just cover it and we'll put it in the refrigerator. We're going to refrigerate this in the marinade for about 12 hours. Okay, the secret to making really good homemade pulled pork for amateurs is to get yourself one of these. This is a smoker oven. This is by Cookshack, and I've had really good luck with it since I bought it. The first thing I like to do in getting ready to smoke any meat is to clean the inside of it a little bit. Here you see the box that the wood chunks go in. So I'll remove that and I'll discard these leftover wood chunks from my last smoking. As you can see, it's pretty clean. Usually I like to line the bottom and line this deflector, this grease deflector, with some aluminum foil. But first of all, we're going to give it a quick wipe out with a damp sponge. Alright, we've got our smoker oven cleaned and dried now. I'm going to line the bottom with some foil. I like to use apple wood when I smoke. I'm only going to use a couple of pieces for this pork shoulder that we're going to make. I'll just slide that smoker box back over the burners and smooth the foil around the edges now. Time to check on our pulled pork. It's been in about 17 hours. The temperature gauge says it's about 190 degrees. That's perfect. Oh, look at that. This is called bark. We're going to take it out now. I tied it up last night to hold all the parts together. So that's the string that you see on it right now. But we're going to take it inside. We're going to let it cool off now. Okay, we're inside and we're going to let the pulled pork cool for a little bit. You can see it's gotten a lot smaller. Started off at about 6 pounds. It's down to maybe 3 or 4 now after 17 hours of cooking. I'm going to start off by taking off the thread or the string that's tying it up. If you do this while it's hot, it doesn't take off so much of the bark. When I put it in last night and I tied it up, I dusted it all over with a little bit of dry rub. And I'm going to make a video showing you how to do the dry rub. You don't want all that yummy bark to come off. It looks like charcoal, but it's actually proteins and great fatty stuff that's come out. Almost all the fat is rendered out of this in the cooking process. Okay, there's our string is all off now. I'm going to turn it back with the fat side up, and it's continuing to cook a little bit on the inside. So we're going to leave it until the temperature comes down to where we can handle it a little bit, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to pull it apart. Okay, our pulled pork has been resting for a while, and now it's time to pull it. I just use a couple of ordinary forks to do this. There are things online that you can buy that are specialty forks that will just tear this right up. And you can see it just pulls right apart very, very simply. Just take the forks, put them next to each other, pull apart. That's why it's called pulled pork. And you can see how nicely that's just coming right apart. Look at that meat. That is the best. And the bark gives it really extra flavor. There's a lot of different ways to eat this now. You can put it on bread the way it is. If you're from Hawaii, this will remind you a lot of kalua pig, and of course that's delicious. And you might want to have that on rice. So I'll keep working at this, and then I'm going to make a barbecue pork sandwich. Now that you've got your pulled pork, you mix it up with a little bit of your BBQ sauce for amateurs, and you take a bun and you just scoop it right on the bun just like that. Put on your lid. My friends, that is a barbecued pulled pork sandwich. Bon appetit.